In this video, I'm going to talk about limiting beliefs, especially how you can change a limiting belief yourself without the need of a therapist, without the need of someone else. Of course, in a therapeutic environment, with a professional or with a therapist, there are a number of ways and methods in which you can change a limiting belief. Personally, what I employ is timeline therapy because timeline therapy has shown me that it gives the best results when it comes to changing limiting beliefs. And literally, you can take one belief, and within one session, that belief is gone. But of course, when it comes to the layers of someone's trauma, there are a number of different beliefs that are piled one on top of the other. They form kind of like a brick wall. So you need to be taking brick by brick to basically tear that wall down. So it's important to take it step by step and to work on every single brick, on every single piece of the trauma. So because a lot of the time it's like a mosaic, it is like a big matrix, almost like a puzzle. You have to take it bit by bit because there are layers and layers of trauma and layers of different beliefs formed because of trauma. Now, of course, this is all when it comes to working with a therapist. So my preferred method is timeline therapy, and this is what I do, and this is what I use with people. But there's also methods that everyone can use to dissolve limiting beliefs. This also, of course, depends on the nature of the limiting belief and how it was formed, because there are limiting beliefs that you have formed throughout your entire life through repeated experience. There are limiting beliefs that have been formed in your childhood because of experiences with your mother, your father, what they told you, what you have seen, what you have witnessed, what you have been taught. There are limiting beliefs that have been formed before this lifetime. Some limiting beliefs have actually been formed in the womb. While you were in your mother's womb, you were absorbing her own fears, her own thoughts, your mother's thoughts, right? Your mother's emotions. So you have come into the world with limiting beliefs, which are basically an energetic imprint of your mother's fears, thoughts. There are limiting beliefs that have been passed down through a generational timeline or through multiple generational timelines, from your ancestors, through your DNA, through the cellular memory. This, by the way, timeline therapy also deals with this, and this is why I love it, because it's so powerful. It actually deals with any kind of limiting beliefs. If the limiting belief comes from a past life or from a generational timeline, then the chances of someone getting rid of it organically are lower than if the limiting belief comes from this particular lifetime. Not everyone has limiting beliefs that come heavily from past lives or from generational timelines. And most people's limiting beliefs actually come from this current lifetime. And if this is the case, with your limiting beliefs, if they come from something that you have been taught your entire life, something that, like a reinforced thought, a reinforced idea that has been presented to you again and again and again from childhood, that has been reinforced through life experience and through what other people have told you, then know that the good news is that this kind of limiting belief can be dissolved organically through your subconscious mind. This type of limiting belief, you can actually use your cognitive side. You can actually use your logical, rational, conscious mind to make the changes in your subconscious mind. Let me explain how that works. When you have a certain limiting belief about the world, let's say, what you need to do in order to dissolve that idea from your subconscious is to show to your subconscious proof that this isn't universally true, that this belief, that this idea doesn't stand because it's not true really within the universe, within the larger world. So you have to find proof around you, in the world around you, in your environment, that this belief isn't true. So literally, this is what you need to do in order to dissolve that belief. For example, I've been working quite a lot with women who are very, let's say, disappointed about men. They think all men are the same, meaning that they all are bad. And this is a limiting belief. It is a limiting belief that many women have because of their bad experiences in relationships, because of their bad experiences with men. Perhaps coming from their father figure, but not necessarily. Perhaps coming from an abusive narcissistic partner, or multiple abusive narcissistic partners, So whatever the life experience has been, these women have this belief. So I'm going to take this as an example. So how do you dissolve such a belief? Let's say that all men are the same, that all men are bad, that all men, are assholes and so on. You find proof in your environment that this isn't true. You start to find and look for proof everywhere that this isn't true. And if you are actively seeking for that proof that your belief isn't true, isn't universally true, you will start to find that proof. And once you find that proof, you observe and you notice. You notice, for example, the men around you. Taking this particular example, noticing the men around you. And looking around, they can find examples and proof that some men are actually really nice, that some men are actually really good partners, that some men are actually what they want. And this exists, this is real, this is in the real world. So the moment that you see this proof around you that things are different, the belief starts to lessen. The more you notice this proof that your belief isn't true, the more you notice it in your environment. Soon enough, you're going to start to notice it everywhere. So you're going to start to notice everywhere the fact that your belief isn't true. And that is the moment when your subconscious makes subconsciously a different conclusion. Your subconscious notices in a subconscious way. Again, you don't need to know how this works in your subconscious, but it will start to gather different information about a particular subject that you had a limiting belief about. For example, let's say men or relationships. And is going to start to make different conclusions based on that information, based on the new observations that you have made, based on the new information you have presented to your mind. So, when you know you have a very toxic belief, or when you feel that there is something holding you back, there might be a limiting belief there. And if you know that that limiting belief has been playing out throughout your entire life, and that it is not something that everyone is confronted with, that is a good indicator that that belief is not something universal. That belief is something that belongs to you and is holding you back. You have somehow subconsciously created that limiting belief, and it's not your fault for that, not at all. But you can dissolve that belief, like I said, by finding, like observing the world around you and finding basically the proof around you, finding as much proof as you can that that belief isn't true, until all you're going to see is that that proof is everywhere and literally your belief doesn't stand. So that's the moment when your subconscious is gonna make a different conclusion and basically give up that old belief to form a new belief, a good belief, a belief that is benefiting you. So this is how you form a new belief. So I hope this tool was helpful for you, and if you have any questions, as always, email me.